Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, good day, everybody. It's Saturday, October. I keep saying October, August 27th, 2022, and you know what that means. I am the king of the mountain, Jeremy Pearson. Welcome to the High Risk Wrestling Podcast as we cover the week that was. We'll be covering August 20th through the 26th. And There's a lot going on, especially on the AEW side of things. But as always, my socials, Twitter, the 215, Charismatic Creations on Facebook, Tumblr, and YouTube, and Charismatic_Creations 52 on Instagram. Check out some new reviews. Got a couple more to throw up. Hopefully we can get them Jones up there this weekend. Last week, we started another new series. This is X-Pac Heat, and X-Pac Heat is that go away heat. It's that go home heat. We don't want you here. We don't need you. We fucking hate you. But today we are back to the Master of Disguise, continuing that. People that have had gimmick changes that have either helped or hurt their career. That's what we got going on for you today. But for now, you know what's next. So just go on and hit my music. So it's it's been a newsworthy week. Tegan Knox. She needs to sort out her visa issues before considering not just the WWE return, but just the return in wrestling. There's something just going on. She just needs to work on that. I would love to see her back. She never really got the chance, really, because she was part of that. The budget cuts, which is fucking stupid. Rampage ratings for the 19th edition of August brought in 431,000 viewers. They've got to do something about Rampage. You just can't be a show where you blow. Something's got to change. Treat it as an extension of Dynamite. Treat it as a serious show. Like the pieces are there. They've got to do something. WWE has relieved Jeff Jarrett from a position in the company. He's no longer the VP of live events. They actually did really, really well for the short time that he was in charge there, but he will be replaced by Road Dogg, who is now back in the company. He's taking over Jeff Jarrett's role. The Good Brothers' time with Impact will be coming to an end shortly, probably like the next week or two. They finished up the tapings, put some titles on the line. Kind of guess how that's going to turn out, but they're almost done with Impact. I want to see what's going to happen with the other Bullet Club members. SmackDown last week, the August 19th edition, brought in 2.08 million viewers with a .47 and an 18-49 demo. That is definitely down from the 2.4 million they did the previous week. Well, we'll have a quick one-night war between AEW and NXT as AEW will have to move from Wednesday to Tuesday for at least 1 week due to the MLB playoffs. So on October 17th, they'll be going head-to-head with NXT and expect Dynamite to just kind of steamroll NXT. There was a talent meeting this past week before Dynamite, and there were many, many things discussed. The heat between a lot of wrestlers, the rumors of unrest, the contract inquiries, the personal issues, things that have pretty much just been leaked out there, and just get it out there. Tony was fired up, and it's like kind of laying things on the line that he won't be pushed over, and that the door is always open, especially you can come to Kenny and the Young Bucks, who have made it clear that their door is always open. They can be reached for concerns. This is part of the reason why Tony did the promotions with Madison Rain and Simon Dutz, and QT Marshall, so on and so forth. We're out of the honeymoon phase. We're about 3 years in. We're out of the honeymoon phase. These things are going to be expected. We know how many talent meetings the WWE has had. Tony also addressed the contract tampering rumors, like, yo, bring it to the chief legal officer. They should not be doing this. The other company. And Kenny was the harshest for the locker room in the backstage meeting. Kind of a tough love approach, and some said he was even heavy-handed. You you need to be open. I mean, we can't clearly see the heat between he and Ospreay. They don't like each other. And while we're still talking about heat, Eddie Guevara and Eddie Kingston and Sammy Guevara, there's heat between them. Essentially, it was just a lack of communication on each other's part. And, well, Eddie pie-faced Sammy. Eddie was actually suspended. It was a quiet suspension, and that's why he disappeared from TV for a couple of weeks. And it's over and done with. We'll see if they're still going to get their match at All Out. Yeah, Sammy is kind of a dick, but again, he's partly right that it's all about communication. There's still more heat to talk about. As we know, it's very obvious Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa do not like each other. They have been described as mortal enemies. We know this. You can tell that they don't like each other. I am always Team Rosa over Team Bitch Baker. Yeah. You don't have to like the person you work with. You just have to be professional. It's that simple. Dynamite this past week, ratings over 1 million once again. Did a little bit over 1 million with a .34 on the 18 to 49 demo. Back to my girl Rosa. She is dealing with some backstage issues. Obviously, what's going on between her and Britt Baker. Also, what's going on with her and Jamie Hayter. Britt and Jamie don't like Rosa, and Rosa doesn't like them. Yes, Rosa broke Jamie's nose, but that shit happens. Did it look like she was purposely doing it? No. This might blow up, and it's a matter of whose side you're going to pick, because we hearing a lot of things about right now. We're hearing a lot of things about Thunder Rosa. She's a little heavy-handed and works stiff in the ring. She's apparently she talks down to people, but then we heard other stuff from the complete opposite. Like, no, Rosa works hard as working with the women, getting them TV time, training them, with her promotion, getting people over, getting people booked. So all of a sudden we're shitting on Thunder Rosa, and sometimes where the smoke, there's fire. Other times, I think we're just haters. Thunder, she is hurt. You'll find out a little bit later, but she's dealing with some really, really severe back issues, so she will be out for a while. I don't know how long, not a while, because it won't be a year, but we will be getting an interim women's world champion. Rosa says she can't even walk sometimes, and she's dealing with, sounds like, bulging discs in her back. She's also denying any of the heat reports, and like she always says, she takes accountability for the things that have happened, but I feel like a part of it is just haters. It's that simple. And AEW has been told to tone down the swearing. They do curse a lot over there. We've seen it. Just tone it back some. Apparently the blood, and the blood is fine. But that's the news, and we should be right. All right, finishing the week that was from Monday Night Raw. We had a fine show, but they need a world champion soon. Soon. So the show opens up with just Riddle and Seth are just brawling. get some heat. And I think that's the only time we see Seth and Riddle for the rest of the show. It's right there at the beginning. Let's just get the clash at the castle, right? So Trish opens up the show, and she's confronted by Control. And they just have some words. Bayley helps carry the segment. You know, Trish has never been super great on the mic. Bianca backs up Trish, and we're getting our tag match for in the women's tournament. Kai and Sky beat Asuka and Alexa. Io Sky rolls up Asuka, and please give it to me in my soul. Please give me Asuka versus Io Shirai. They even mentioned on commentary that these two have history together. Please give me what I want. Batista. Give me what I want. I want Io Shirai. Io Sky versus Asuka. I want it. I need it. Please. Next up, we had Dolph Ziggler versus Finn Balor. Ziggler slapped Finn in the gorilla position. Just egged him on. It was funny. Goaded him. And Finn won the match after Rhea interfered. This was a good, solid match. I'd expect nothing less from these two gentlemen. Aaliyah challenged Bayley. KO was back as the prize fighter. He answered Chad Gable's open challenge and won. Bayley beat Aaliyah. AJ Styles and Lashley versus The Miz and Ciampa ended in a no contest after someone in the crowd tried to grab AJ Styles, but on the opposite side of the floor, Loomis just stole Miz. He's gone. Just stole him. Just stole him. Took this man into the depths. Miz is gone. We don't know. Loomis actually did show up on NXT, reuniting with his kayfabe wife, Indy Hartwell. It was great, and then he was arrested. So expect an Indy Hartwell call up, I presume. Johnny Gargano, shockingly, but not so shockingly, returned. Said Johnny Gargano things was great. And it looks like his first feud is going to be with Austin Theory. His Theory came out. They acknowledged that they were in the way together. And Theory's like he's the veteran now, where Gargano's the rookie. And Johnny super kicked him. This is going to be great. And in our main event, Edge beats Damian Priest. The Judgment Day were beating down Edge after the match, but Beth Phoenix, Edge's wife, who was in the audience, saved Edge with a chair. So expect probably, I guess, Damian Rhea versus Edge and Beth probably at Clash at the Castle. I could definitely see that happening. Rockets a fist over on Dynamite, top notch wrestling kind of, and really good promos really helped the show. So I'm giving Dynamite a thumbs up. So we opened up with Dan Garcia and Chris Jericho explaining themselves. Jericho kept egging on Dan Garcia like, "Yo, you're a sports entertainer." Dan Garcia's like is saying that you ruined that moment for me. I had a great match with somebody I looked up to. You know what I mean? And Bryan Danielson was there egging him on. And Garcia pushed Jericho. So now he's going back and forth. Is he a sports entertainer? Is he a wrestler? Because Jericho's like, "You're the best technical sports entertainer." But we will end up getting Chris Jericho versus Bryan Danielson at All Out. Jay Lethal beat Dax Hardwood. And Jay Lethal, Sanjay Dutt got some backup because they will be teaming with the Motor City Machine Guns, two men that they have great history with, obviously from their TNA Impact days. And they'll be taking on Wardlow and FTR at All Out. As we said before, Thunder Rosa is hurt, and will we get an interim champion crowned at All Out? So it'll be in a fatal four-way: Jamie Hayter, Bitch Baker, Hikaru Shida, and Tony Storm. Colton Gunn beat his dad. Swerve and Keith Lee made the save after Stokely Hathaway go to the Ass Boys to beat up on their pops. Bitch Baker beat Kylan King, and then they tried to take out Tony Storm, but Sheeta showed up with a kendo stick to help and make the save. And our unification match for the World Championship, Jon Moxley squashes CM Punk in 3 minutes. Did someone say 3 minutes? Mock squashed Punk. It's crazy. Crazy. It was blinking. You missed it. Christian accept Jungle Boy's challenge. Ricky starts with a fire babyface promo. And Mock saying, yo, did y'all expect something different? What did y'all expect? I am John Moxley. And in our main event, the United Empire defeated the Death Triangle to advance in the Trios tournament. After Kip Sabian got involved, the Elite showed up, and because they'll be facing the United Empire next week, this is going to be good because I think this might be only the second time Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega will be, competing against each other in a ring. They don't like each other. Over on Impact, in our Impact corner, VXT, that will be the team of Deonna Purrazzo and Chelsea Green. Defeated Jordan Grace and Mia Yim. Carl Anderson beat Mike Bennett. Josh Alexander beat Vincent. Heath attacked to make himself known. And Time Machine, the team of Kushida and the Motor City Machine Guns, defeated Violent by Design. There were some other things happening. We got a Jessica Havoc squash is showing her new character, and fans are loving it. Over on SmackDown, Roman reestablishes himself. Joe gets a fist. Happy Corbin loses once again. Ricochet beat him. So I am hoping we're going to get down bad Corbin, bum ass Baron Corbin, broke Corbin. I'm hoping we get him back. I want it. So bad. An interaction between Hit Real and the Street Profits. So it looks like we're going to get like a crazy kind of multi-team feud between Hit Real, the Street Profits, Maximum Male Models, and Los Lotharios. Karrion Kross and Scarlett say Karrion Kross and Scarlett things. Obvious trash is trash. Natalya and Sonya won the Last Chance Fatal 4-Way. This match only went 4 minutes. You would think with 4 teams the match would get more than 4 minutes, but that's it. We had a really good in-ring segment between Gunther and Sheamus. Sheamus was like just laying out his resume. This is gonna be a good match. This is gonna be a very, very good match at Clash at the Castle. Pete Dunne and I forget the other dude, Ludwig Kaiser were just brawling, and while they're fighting, Gunther and Sheamus just are staring at each other. And oh god, this actually might be the match I'm looking forward to the most at Clash at the Castle. The Bloodline are setting up Sammy for a fall. You know it's coming. Sammy's got beef with Jay, but not really with Jimmy. Listen, I truly believe that Sammy and KO are going to be the ones to defeat the Usos for the tag team championships. Aaliyah and Raquel advanced over Sonya and Natalya in the women's tournament, so they will be taking on Kai and Sky in the finals. Aaliyah really didn't do anything in this match. Raquel was a one-woman show, and hopefully they'll acknowledge the history between Raquel and Dakota. The New Day tricked the Viking Raiders and beat their ass. And in the main event, Drew McIntyre beat Sami Zayn, but then the Bloodline beat Drew's ass after the match. Took him out. Even Sami got in on the action. Over on Rampage, Dark Order advanced over the House of Black. And on the Rampage side of the Trios tournaments, after Miro interferes, he wants the pagans. The House of Black then beat down Miro until Darby Allin and Sting returned to make the save. Hook does not care about Parker Menard's challenge. He just doesn't. Wardlow squashed Ryan Nemeth. This was for the TNT Championship. We're getting a slow face turn for Private Party. Hobbs wins a squash match. And backstage, the Factory obliterated Ricky. Ricky dead. Ricky! Athena attacked Jade backstage. Sammy and Ty defeated Ortiz and Ruby Soho after Anna Jay got involved. In the main event, Claudio Castagnoli defended the Ring of Honor World Championship against Dustin Rhodes, which he did win. This was a very, very good match. Our matches of the week from Dynamite, the Trios Tournament, the United Empire versus the Death Triangle. From Impact, Time Machine versus Violet by Design. And from Rampage, the Ring of Honor World Championship match, Claudio Castagnoli versus Dustin Rhodes. The star of the week, I'm going to have to give it to Dustin Rhodes. The guy's in his 50s, and he's just putting his thing down, man. He's out here putting in good work, good matches. It's like when you see him in R-Truth, you forget that they're up there in age, and they're still just entertaining. It's really, really great. But that's the week in review, and we shall be right back. The Master of Disguise. You're asking yourself, well, what is the Master of Disguise? This is people who had gimmick changes. Were they for the better? Were they for the worst? That is what we're kind of discussing today. Last time who do we have last week? Last time we looked at Kevin Thorne, Jimmy Wang Gang, Lance Archer, and Nikki A.S.H. And it's a good topic because there's so many people that have had gimmick changes. And we're just going to start with Matthew Bloom. Now, who do you know Matthew Bloom as? Albert in the WWE. So let's just start there. Albert was part of a pretty successful tag team with Test called TNA. They had Trish Stratus as their manager. So Bloom started out just as Prince Albert, pun because of the Prince Albert piercings. Just look it up. And he was with Test. So that never really changed. He was just pretty much generic big man that had piercings. That was his gimmick. Yeah, that was his gimmick. He then ended up having to leave TNA under the orders of Stephanie, because there was a lot going on with Stephanie and Test. If you don't know, you should know. Go look it up. He was then in a stable with X-Pac and Justin Credible called X Factor. This was such a random stable for 1 year. So after X Factor, he was teamed up with Scotty 2 Hotty, right? First of the gimmick change, he was the hip hop hippo. What? Come on. Do y'all remember this? Like, do y'all remember this? Oh, it was a lot. Then came kind of the first real change of a gimmick from him. He became A-Train. He spent a lot of time on Velocity, and then he just became A-Train. He was getting the chance, shave your back, because he's a big hairy dude, and had a really big shot. He and Big Show teamed up to take on The Undertaker at WrestleMania 19. And the feud continued with A-Train fighting Taker at SummerSlam. And then he was just up and down feuds, wins, losses, eliminations. It really didn't go anywhere. But it was something different that they did. So going from Prince Albert to the A Train, it was fine. But the A Train was kind of like a precursor to a real change, and this happens a lot in wrestling. So after he gets released, he goes to Japan and joins New Japan Pro Wrestling. Well, he left All Japan and joined New Japan. When he was in All Japan, he was Giant Bernard. But then when he got to New Japan, things just changed. He was pushed. He was given a shot. Joined feuds. He was taking on Shinsuke Nakamura and Togi Makabe. It was different. It was different. Giant Bernard was a badass dude. And from 2009 to 2012, Giant Bernard was a beast in New Japan, winning I know he won tag team championships, right? Yeah, he won the tag team championships twice. Once with Tomko, who you guys know, and Carl Anderson. What? In 2011, Wrestling Observer named him and Carl Anderson Tag Team of the Year in 2011. Let that sink in. So things were working out for him, feuding with Beer Money, feuding with the Muscle Orchestra. Giant Bernard was great. And inevitably, WWE caught on. So, oh, we used to have this guy. Let's bring him back. Well, they brought him back as Lord Tensai. Instead of just going with Giant Bernard, he became Lord Tensai, where he had a gimmick of, I don't know, like some Japanese warlord. And it never really got over. They did the inevitable push with him beating people. He even feuded with CM Punk and John Cena, getting victories over them, but it never caught on because, well, WWE sucks sometimes. And eventually he was demoted to dancing once again by teaming with Brodus Clay. And eventually they broke up because they were part of the Funk of that. It wasn't great. All these changes, and the one thing that worked was Giant Bernard. And they could have just pushed him as Giant Bernard, but the WWE doesn't like doing the smart thing sometimes. They just don't. And now he's chilling. He's a trainer. He's been working backstage for almost a decade now. It's fine. It's whatever. That's the height of his career was as Giant Bernard in New Japan. So the question is, would he have gone on to have more greatness if he would have just stayed in New Japan? Moving on. Nelson Frazier Jr., who you know as Mabel, Viscera. He had a few changes. So essentially, I mean, he started out in a couple territories, but he eventually started out as Mabel in Men on a Mission, teaming with Mo, and they were just big, funny dudes. They started out as heels. Eventually, they were just so good they had to become faces, and it worked for about a year. Men on a Mission were really, really good. Eventually they split, and we got the change to Viscera. Well, not even the change to Viscera. It started out with Mabel winning the King of the Ring, becoming King Mabel. with Mo becoming Sir Mo, his manager. And this, obviously, when we see this time and again with tag teams, somebody's going to get pushed. And it was Viscera. King Mabel. And it was one of those times. Sorry, I just peeped something that Pierre of the Quebecers is PCO. I had no idea. PCO's been wrestling for almost 30 years. Wow. But back to King Mabel. Here, who was getting a push. He essentially became the top heel in the company from 95 to 96. Like, he fought Diesel for the WWF Championship at SummerSlam. It was different. It was different, and it was his removal from the top of the card really came out of nowhere. But Kevin Nash stated that it probably had something to do with his wrestling style. He was reckless and took little regard for his safety and his fellow wrestlers. And at that point, Nelson Frazier, Viscera, had injured 6 or 8 people already. So that's why he was dropped. Instead of saying, "Hey, yo, we got to work or some things," WWE just removed him from the top of the card. No longer being the main villain, he moved into a high-profile feud with The Undertaker, and it was a wrap. Didn't really work out. He lost the casket match. Was gone, and he was kind of packaged as Viscera. He came back in '98 and joined the Ministry. Beach blonde mohawk, bodysuit, and it worked. He got pushed his hair in there. Had a short stint in TNA. Didn't even last that long. So he came back, and he was now the world's largest love machine for 3 years. He attacked Taker. He attacked JBL, who was the WWE champion at this point. And then it was weird. It was very, very, very weird with the world's largest love machine. And he had a thing for Lillian Garcia, and it kind of worked. It was funny. It was cute. But there are other things that just didn't work out. He ended up in a tag team with Val Venus randomly. And then he just turned on Lillian, giving her a Samoan drop. It was so random. And then his final gimmick change was as of Big Daddy V. This was WWE, his last gimmick change, because after WWE he was King V, he was Big Daddy Voodoo, but Big Daddy V moved to the ECW brand in the supplemental draft. He was a hired muscle for Matt Striker. Like, I remember these things. He was pushed as a heel. It was one of the brand's top heels. Fought for the championship, for CM Punk, for Kane. And eventually he's released. And that was it. That was a wild ride. This is a guy that started in the Attitude Era and then moved over to the Ruthless Aggression Era and had ups and downs. I mean, obviously the height of his tenure was when he was King Mabel. He was the top guy in the company. And never really took off. If he would have just, I guess, they brought him back for obvious reasons. So it's a matter of, what didn't click. Multiple gimmick changes, and they had faith in this man. They had faith in him. They wanted him to do well, and it just didn't click. Something. How about we get to one of the dumbest gimmick changes? This one just, I get it. I understand it, but it was incredibly stupid. When the Dudley Boys were split up in the first draft, Bubba was sent to Raw. Devon was sent to SmackDown. What transpired? He became a preacher. He was Reverend Devon. And you know what? Thinking back on it, it was a bad gimmick change, but it was also really, really fun. So he became a reverend. He was Vince McMahon's, Mr. McMahon's the character, spiritual advisor. And he had a protege. His protege, Deacon Batista. Yes. Some of the uninitiated, Batista started out as a deacon. And this launched Batista's career. They would go into the crowd collecting tithes and offerings. But it didn't last. It didn't last long because Batista turned on Devon. Reverend Devon actually did beat Triple H on SmackDown after Jericho hit Triple H with the collection box. That happened. That truly, genuinely happened. The more you know. Reverend Devon, oh man, love it, love it, love it. And last but not least, how about drop? I hate the listen, I hate what they did to drop. I hate what they did to my girl. So, Dewdrop, real name Kimberly Benson, started on the Indies as Viper, moved to the WWE as Piper the Viper Nevin, NXT UK. There, she was great. She in NXT UK, she was one of the top heels, just dominating. Feuding with Rhea Ripley, feuding with Toni Storm, and just seeing her as Piper in the Mae Young Classic was great. I was like, oh my God, I'm a fan. I like it. I love it. And this was that thing we see in wrestling with someone that's big that can also move. It's great, right? It's awesome. And because of who we know who's in charge, there was a change. So Piper was in NXT UK doing very, very well, taking on Toni Storm, taking on Kaylee Ray, just putting on good to great matches. It was awesome. Then she was called into Raw, where she was rebranded as Eva Marie's protege, Dewdrop, someone who's supposed to be below Eva Marie. And I'm like, Eva Marie wish she had the talent that Piper has. Wish she had the talent. Eva Marie would have matches, but would just use Doudrop for them instead. Not soon here thereafter, finally, Doudrop turned on Eva Marie. I was like, yes, get this feud over with, have her destroy Eva. Let's just be done with it. Please have her turn back to Piper Nevin. No. She's still Doudrop, but she's more of a badass. And she's been given the time to show that she can kick ass. And I'm a fan. I am hoping she gets a push, hoping she gets time to shine and just be amazing. I'm waiting for her to win her first championship. That's not the 24/7 title. You know what I mean? You figure she would at least been in NXT UK Women's Champion, but nope. All she's won is the 24/7 championship. And right now they're working on getting her and Nikki ASH, who we talked about on our last Master of the Sky show over. But let me know what you think, guys. We got a long list of people we can talk about for the Master of Disguise. Reverend Dion is hilarious, but I'm more so just looking back on Viscera's career. It could have been something greater than what it was, because they truly did believe in him. You just don't go from being Mabel to King Mabel to Viscera to Big Daddy V, getting these shots, and they completely failed on A-Train. Albert should have just went with Giant Bernard. That's it. It's very it's that simple. But thank you all for listening. I appreciate it. Next week, All Out, our preview show. I'll see if I can get some of the guys to join me as we talk about All Out. It'll be one of our longer shows from the channel. As always, you can check out the socials. Charismatic Creations on Facebook, Tumblr, and YouTube. Charismatic_Creations 52 on Instagram. The 215 on Twitter. Always, you can check out my coffee page as well. Looking for them donations. Check out my movie and TV reviews. And as always, Xylee, Wendy Chu, Shotzi Blackheart, and my baby Gigi. Get better. I miss you. Holla at your boy. Peace.